Hi, I'm Ale. Um, I am a community member here in Corpus Christi. When it comes to organizing, I basically began organizing when I was in high school. It was around like a lot of the labor movement for my teachers. There were a lot of things that I observed and things that I was hearing about the difficult labor conditions. My favorite teachers, who were amazing mentors and role models for me, were going through. And then when I went to college, it was kind of a lot of more like on campus student organizing, whether that was on immigrant justice, gender and sexuality justice, or just access to healthcare. That was a lot of my work during my time in undergrad. And then when I graduated and came to Corpus for the past 4 years, I was trying to find a way to connect with people because that was really important to me. And it's impossible to connect with people here without talking about water or talking about the pollution that we have in this city. And so that quickly plugged me into Texas Campaign for the Environment and other amazing organizations like DSA that are doing very important, vital work here. Learned a lot. I think one of the most fruitful for me, because usually I'm in my friend groups, I'm usually right, but when it comes to organizing, I'm usually wrong. And I think being able to be okay with making a lot of mistakes because you're gonna mess up a lot, right? You're trying to connect these very big, beautiful ideas of a future with everybody else's big, beautiful ideas as to what that future looks like, with different personalities and different emotions. That you're not going to get it right, and you have to accept that. And I think that's been like the number one thing, specifically in the context of this kind of like trying to be a big city, Corpus Christi, but also having like the coziness of a rural urban landscape. You're going to be wrong a lot, and people will let you know. I think for me, from a lot of the conversations I've had, either at the door or just like in a social setting when trying to connect with somebody who is very angry or has some feelings that they want to get, like they feel like they can do something to change or they have ideas, is to know yourself first. That's always kind of what we try to do from the organizing side, even from a professional standpoint of like, what are your values? What do you care about? Even if you only care about cats, which I don't think that's true, I'm gonna call it, but thinking, okay, like if I care about cats, that means cats need food. Okay, who's responsible for giving cats food? Do we have a system in our city that cares for cats? And then you start to like then connect your one issue to how it's all connected. And I think that's the work that a lot of us have to do, even us seasoned organizers have to do, of like everything is interconnected. And it's not just we're like, if this group is free then we're all free, because that's, easy to capture on social media, right? And it's effective, but what does that mean as a person when you're like, my passion issue are animal rights? What does that look like, and how can that be connected to autonomy for Black people or Indigenous people or trans people, right? And being able to step outside of yourself and connect those ideas would be my advice. Always reflect first. My vision for the Coastal Bend, in simplest terms, would be that people have a voice in deciding what we collectively would want. And that's very abstract, but we don't have that right now. We have systems, alleged systems that are supposed to allow us to provide input and have change and have representatives that will listen to those that have these great ideas, that have put in the work, that are backed with science, and that's not happening. So to start, that's the future, right? But once we do have that, a future I would want is one where we have divested from fossil fuels completely, as that is not necessary for the growth of our economy. If healthcare and education are our two biggest industries outside of refineries that we actually make sustainable and significant contributions to building it up and maintaining it for professional development, not just for our economy, but also the people that go to these hospitals. There are a ton of hospitals in Corpus where you read the reviews and it's like, this is where you go to die. That is not what we should be having as a review. You hear about CCISD and you're hearing about all-time low literacy rates. And how is that, what does that mean for the rest of our industries if our two leading industries in Corpus Christi are having really poor results? I want a future of Corpus Christi that is free from air pollution, from people having to get asthma or other disabling conditions outside of those that they were born with, and where we can somehow tackle the algae that makes our water kind of brown. Maybe that one's kind of just like on an individual aesthetic level, but like clear water would be nice. I know that's a possibility if we work really hard. And for my shower water to not force me to buy products to get rid of all the mineral and hard water that exists. It's really expensive.